When I left Georgetown, I was not holding my breath about the prospect for reform. But maybe now we're finally seeing a backlash to our illiberal inquisitors. I'm still not sure it can all be done from within. So we need external controls from state legislators and attorneys general and congressional oversight tied to federal funding. We also need what economists call exogenous shocks, like Judge Ho's boycott of Yale and Stanford for clerk hiring, plus employers shying away from hiring those who support Hamas or who scream at federal judges that they hope their daughters are raped. And we need public exposure. In February of 2023, about 2 years ago, my now colleague at the Manhattan Institute, John Saylor, who's an investigative reporter, got some documents from FOIA and Freedom of Information Act and published an op-ed, one op-ed in the Wall Street Journal about how Texas Tech, a public school, used diversity statements to hire biologists. The very next day, the president of the university said, we're not going to do that anymore. That's not appropriate. We've seen similar dynamics in other institutions. So that gives me some cautious hope because, to mix metaphors, some of these structures are Potemkin villages guarded by paper tigers. Claudine Gay, Harvard's former president, crystallizes the larger problem. She is a mediocre academic who was elevated for advancing progressive orthodoxy while checking the right intersectional boxes. She's the apotheosis of an anti-intellectual movement that values DEI, identity, and activism over truth-seeking, merit, and education. That movement is designed to prefer commissars over scholars. But Gay's resignation and the departure of presidents elsewhere doesn't end the university's troubles. For that matter, Dean Traynor at Georgetown recently announced that he would be leaving the deanship at the end of this semester. I don't know whether that was in anticipation of my book, but the timing was interesting. The school, Harvard or Georgetown Law, any of these schools that I talk about in my book, is still plagued by a toxic campus culture, ideological corruption, and bureaucratic bloat that stifle free discourse. FIRE, the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, recently named Harvard the worst school in the country for free speech for the second straight year. Well, Harvard may be the worst on this and other measures, but it's by no means alone. Look, it doesn't take long to destroy reputations built over decades and centuries. The question now is whether higher education grandees are willing to do the work to restore their tarnished stature. There's still a long way to go before universities return to their mission of seeking truth and knowledge, and law schools return to their goal of teaching future lawyers to uphold the rule of law. But the battle's been joined.